Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to make a card that's mainly using items from the Treasury collection from Anna. New to the UK and absolutely gorgeous with so many endless possibilities. And you know me, I like to get the most out of my stamps and my dies and give you good ideas, or at least ideas that you can think, oh you know what, I could do that but do that differently. Everything I do use I shall put in a detailed list on my blog, so please feel free to check that out. There's photos of the projects on there as well, and you can share any of the project with your crafty friends or in forums, etc. Please do so, because I do want to sort of like reach as many people as I possibly can, crafty-wise, craftiness, etc. Just so that, you know, we can give them inspiration as well. And thanks for all your messages, they've been great. I love hearing from you. Okay, there's a housekeeping out the way there. So the first thing we need is a base card. Now this base card is from the new to the UK, the Treasury Cards and Layers set. And in it you get a selection of cards and gorgeous layers. So we're going to be using those with our Treasury stamps and dies. Now even though this is a set, I'm still going to use my bone folder to make sure we've still got a nice sharp crease along the edge. I also want to point out the fact that on the back of the cards it says handmade by. Now this is the section where you fill your name in because you've made the card, so the person that you're giving it to will know that you've made it for them, and hopefully they'll keep it. So I've picked out a pretty pattern from the Treasury Cards and Layers that's going to match the fact that we're going to use the heart stamp that's in the Treasury collection. Now we're going to create a gorgeous inside first, and this I think is a very simple one, but it's one that is very intricate, if that makes any sense. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of cardstock to fit the inside of our card, and it's ivory cardstock. And in fact, I'll tell you what I've done for this. Anna has some ivory envelopes and card kits, the blanks, and I've cut not the 7x5 but it's the slightly smaller size. I've cut that in half to make an insert because I'm not one for using the smaller cards for projects. I would maybe use them to make for somebody else, but I thought that is just such a perfect size to make an insert with. And then I've taken the heart stamp and I've stamped using a Dove Grey, it was a StazOn ink actually, and I've stamped the middle one first so that I was able to get it central, and then the two sides, the middle at the bottom and the two sides, and then I've filled in the rest with the gorgeous heart stamp from that collection, the Treasury. So that's how I've stamped the backing paper that I've created for the insert. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm simply going to position that just through the centre of the card. Next, I've taken one of the layers from the Cards and the Layers collection, and I've also taken one of the stamps from the Treasury collection, and I've just stamped Happy Birthday in black ink at the bottom of it. And then I've made a little cut using a craft knife, you can see it more on that side, just underneath where it says Happy Birthday. And I've stamped and die cut one of the hearts, and I'm actually going to position this, when we stick it into the insert, I'm going to position that so it just sits over the edge. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take off the adhesive. I'm going to make sure I've got the little slit ready, and I think we'll do it before I stick it in. There we go. Make sure that's in position. And we can pop that through the centre of our card, like so. So you haven't got a lot of room for your messages, but there's enough room. And just such a pretty insert. And it's going to match perfectly for our outside. So now we can turn our attention to the outside. And something a little bit different, I think, is this. We're also going to use something, utilise it in a different way. Now, I don't know if any of you recognise this, but it's actually from Anna's pocket dies. You know, the pocket embellishment dies, and it's the roses. I've trimmed the sides and the bottom, and I've just added the tape at the bottom and in the middle. And I'm going to use this just as a back layer. And I've done the second one exactly the same, using Anna's gold cardstock, gold foil cardstock. I've slightly trimmed in on the edges just in case anything overlaps and we don't see a sharp straight edge. Doesn't matter to see any edge, and I'm not bothered the fact that they're overlaying each other because we're not going to see the centre. But they were from the pocket dies, and I just think it's an ingenious way to use them as a background. So I'm really, really happy with that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is in the Treasury stamp and die set, there is some scrolls, and there's the stamps for the scrolls, there's the die for the scrolls, and then there's the die for the next layer of the scrolls. So what I've done is I've stamped the scrolls, and then I've cut out the background for the scrolls, and you literally, stop saying literally, Anne-Marie, place the stamped scroll that you've cut out on top of the die cut background, and I absolutely adore these scrolls. So we've positioned them on top of the backing, you can see that, and now all I have to do is peel them off and add them to my card, and I'm going to add them very randomly, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, like so. And you'll see, I don't think I mentioned that I've taken them through my Xyron machine actually. So that's 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And they're going to help stick the pocket down because the pocket only had the tape at the back. So I should say pocket section. So next, I've actually taken one of the layers from the Treasury cards and layers set. And I've got 3D foam on the back of it. Now I'm just going to place it face down for now because I want to position some of these gorgeous gold hearts around the edge. And I'm thinking we want one to the top because I'm going to use them the opposite way around. I'm not actually going to use them for the back of this as a heart. You're just going to see the pointed section. But I'm simply wanting to get them positioned around the layer, if that makes sense, before I stick the layer on. There we go. So that's the far position around the edge of the layer. Now I can press the layer down and on with the 3D foam. Next, I've got another 3 of the hearts. These were stamped in gold and then heat embossed with gold heat embossing powder. And I'm simply positioning them just like that. I've not lost my marbles, don't panic. Next, I've taken one of the sentiment stamps from the Treasury section, the Treasury collection. I'm sorry, don't know where my teeth are today. And I've stamped out, "You are very special. You are so very special." You see, I'm still at it. I've stamped that out and I've die cut it. And then you also get the teeny weeny little die to die cut the sentiment as well. And I've used the same Dove Grey ink that I've used for the background in the centre. So I'm simply going to position this, oh, and I've also got 3D foam on the back. I'm going to position this through the centre of our layers, like that. And then the teeny weeny sentiment over the top of the previous one. There we go. And then I'm going to finish this off with just a little silver bow. And do I put it down there or up there? Down there or up there? We'll go up there. And that finishes our card off perfectly. Lots of nice 3D layers on there. Stands up nicely. The inside matches the outside perfectly with our stamping and our little embellishment. And it's just such a gorgeous card. And look at the pocket die sections at the back. They stand out so well with just that touch of gold from the foil. And I do like silver and gold together. I think it works so well. Looks very classy. Did I say it stands up nicely? A few layers there. So we've got, let's look, 1, 2, 3 layers for the centre. So it should still normally go in your normal envelope. It's just such an unusual card. And loved working with the Treasury collection. And I love these scrolls. So there, we shall be using those on lots of different projects, I'm sure. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching this. Please feel free to comment. You can comment on Facebook, on my blog, I can get back to you there. I can't reply on YouTube because my replies get deleted. There's a problem with my account. I've had it for a long time and it isn't going to change, and I can't change my account either. So please feel free to get in touch however you like. Love hearing from you, and I'm just so happy that you enjoy what I do. So thank you. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.